Guys, it's time for another debut comic. Make some noise for Lee Razo.
Thank you. So, I grew up in California. For the last 12 years, I've been living in Amsterdam. And, I'll admit, originally I went there for the same reason everybody goes there. The museums and the libraries. Nowadays, I walk around, I see a lot of tourists walking around, and I hear them say things like, I had no idea the city was so cultural. And it is. If your idea of culture is hookers and weed, it is. But because that stuff is legal, the Dutch get a lot of credit. People view them as being progressive. That's bullshit. They're cheap. The only reason any of that stuff is legal is because they can tax the hell out of it. And I'm just thankful that the crime rate is low in Amsterdam, because if they could, they'd set up a designated murder zone. And all the signs in Amsterdam are in Dutch, pretty much, all the street signs. So these poor tourists, they'll just wander on in there and get shot by some guy. And then their poor families will have to come, fly in, go to the city department of parks and murder. And they'll deal with this clerk who'll say, ma'am, it's a real pity what happened to your son. But, he was walking around in the murder zone. Rules are rules. And speaking of rules, that wound looks pretty serious. The tax on that comes to 500 euros. Yeah, the Germans are actually, I should say, the Dutch. They like to think that they're completely different than the Germans, who are basically their arch rivals. But I've been there a while. I don't really see that much difference. For example, both share a passionate love for the word no. Went to a train station once. I asked the clerk at the ticket counter, are there any trains going to Paris today? And he says, no. So I try again. Are there any trains going to Paris today? No. So I stood back, collected myself, took a deep breath, and tried one more time. Are there any trains going to Paris tonight? Yes! So I have been to Paris, and they have these cafes, these brasseries on every corner of every street. And the weird thing about these places is they only seem to hire these big, strong, powerful-looking young guys. And their job is to wear a fucking apron and a towel and serve you a demi-tasse. The really weird thing is they have this sort of military formality about the way they go about their business. You try to signal one, and they just stand there, guarding a border crossing. It makes me wonder, somewhere out there is a proud French mother, with a big portrait over the mantle of her brave son, wearing his apron, holding a towel and a fucking demi-tasse. So, but now that I'm back home here, I notice that there's some stuff we say here which is kind of strange. Like, at the store, I say, thank you, sir. Will that be all for you today? And I think, so if I answer yes, can I still come back later? Or, the other one they always say, thank you, sir. You have a good one. Thank you. Have a good one what? I saw a report in the news last week, I think it was. There was a toddler that was pulled from a flight to New Jersey because her name came up on a no-fly list. And the family was Middle Eastern, so the news covered this like it was a huge outrage. And I saw it, I thought, fuck yeah, it's about time. They should ban all toddlers from planes. Thanks a lot. You have a good one.